we're next to one another, right? And I want to bridge towards or away from my opponent. Not to say that there's no value in staying perpendicular sometimes, but what I notice is when I bridge from a perpendicular position, by the time my hips hit my partner, I'm already at the peak of my bridge, which is wasting a lot of the potential that my hips have, which they're the strongest part of your body. You should be able to use maximum potential there. If I move my hips towards my partner or take it a step further and bring them on top of his hips, this is just a crude example, when I start to bridge here, he's going to receive all of my bridge because I'm connecting to his body before I start the bridge, okay? The other thing that people don't realize is if I need to do some kind of bridge away, if I bridge and I'm perpendicular to my opponent, he is absolutely counterbalancing. Yeah, go ahead and hold my arm. You can just hold it back, okay? You can look at your elbows. He's holding my arm. He's preventing me, even though I'm bridging with my feet, from rotating. But look what happens with the both arms. Okay, I can't move, but look what happens if I start to walk away from this and bridge. I'm finding range of motion, and this is either for increasing your range of motion or dragging power, dragging someone up onto your shoulders, just like you would for a throw, and bring them across your body or above your body. We have an idea of how to make our bridge stronger. Something to pay attention to, that there is orientation that matters. And the next thing we need to get into is the ability to use these mechanics in a meaningful way while we're grappling. Okay, I need the guy to feel some threat of my position and my movement so I can elicit some kind of reaction from my partner. Now, we're going to start from a cross-face position just because I think this is where guys stall the most and they have the most control while they're trying to pin and hold you. I see it in tournaments a lot. Guys waste time on the clock here, and it can really inhibit your ability to progress. Now, Jimmy's arm is under my head here, and he has an underhook on the far side. So we're working out of the worst case scenario. My arm is in a red zone, okay, and he's cross-facing. Now, what does this cross-face mean? If Jimmy is using his shoulder against my jaw, then it's going to be extremely difficult for me to bridge or turn my body towards him. But if I recognize the potential of this situation and I start to turn into him, even though he's going to be able to put his shoulder here, I still have all of my power in my spine to start giving him trouble. So my ability to turn in initially is going to prevent him from getting a strong crossface on me where he controls my spine. Now, if the guy does get a crossface, we need to understand how to deal with that. For me, it always starts with off balancing, because if I can't take advantage of this this arm, or I can't make space on this arm, I need to take advantage of how tight he's holding me, okay? So let's think about this. The tighter he holds me, the closer he gets to me. There's no way for him to generate this kind of pressure without being closer and closer to me and making more and more of a connection. Well, the tighter he holds me, the more potential he exposes his frame to me. So what we're going to start with here is first understanding how to shift weight and then how to off balance. When I frame, I don't frame with my wrist because that's not reinforced by my shoulder. Actually, your wrist is a lever against your shoulder. So when I frame with the tip of my elbow, and my focus is driving my partner back to his heels. Okay, I'm just trying to keep his weight back in his heels. And you can use this thumb in the collar to help with that, or you can just engage your bicep against the collarbone. Okay, and this, even though he's putting pressure, I'm still able to manage it to some degree. Now, my hand is hidden over his back because I don't want it to get attacked. And my objective here is to try to get my hands back into a position that benefits me. So what we're going to start with here is understanding his leverage versus mine. if I'm at the base of his neck and he turns his ear to the right, just pitch your head to the right, and I start to bridge here, I'm never going to move him. This is the strongest part of his neck, okay? So when I'm holding here, I don't just start trying to bridge. I open my elbow. You feel the difference here? I try to close your head. I have leverage on him versus him having leverage on me, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open up my elbow and get over his ear. You can even reach across the head, but this is going to show your cards a lot. So I open my elbow, I take my arm, and I go outside of Jimmy's knee. And what do? We talked about bringing your body close to your opponent, yeah? So I'm not going to bridge from here. I'm going to start to scoot towards him with my outside leg. All the while, my inside leg is over his calf checking, okay? And what I want to do is I want to go for a bridge to get a reaction. I'm either going to bridge here, and he's going to post this hand out, boom, or I'm going to bridge, and he's going to post his knee out strong, and that's going to give me the ability to start recovering guard. If I bridge and he posts with his hand, boom, I bring my hand to the bicep, I pummel inside the neck, and now I have an inside position, which makes it difficult for Jimmy to put pressure down on me. I can start to start my escape process. Okay. Lastly, and probably the least common, but it definitely happens, is as I start to block and I slide my hips in here, I collapse the guy's knees together and I reach around and grab behind my knee. And from this position, I'm just going to open and bridge and let his body take me to the top into a hitchhike position.
Okay, so here's the idea. We first need to talk about how to frame and how to keep weight off of you, okay? A lot of people I see frame with their wrist or their hand, and the problem with this is your wrist and your hand are levers against your shoulder, and if he hip switches or does things like that, you're gonna get injured or lose your leverage quickly. What I want you to do is use the tip of your elbow, because that's supported by the shoulder blade in the ground, and I'm not driving his weight, I'm not trying to hold his weight up, I'm just trying to engage his weight back to his heels. You can use your thumb in the collar here to push back a bit, or you can just use your bicep to help you shift his weight back, okay? Now, I've dealt with the weight to some degree. We have to talk about my ability to use his connection to me against him. The tighter that this person holds me here, the closer he is to me, the more opportunities I have to off balance him. So when I have someone who's just pinning me and holding me really tight, all I'm thinking about is how can I off balance his center of gravity? So first we have to look at his neck. Because I'm over his shoulder, if my bicep stays against the base of Jimmy's neck here, at the base of his neck, and he pinches his ears to the right, no matter how much I bridge, I'm not gonna get a good leverage here, okay? But if I open my elbow, now open your head, okay? I have leverage against his neck because I'm at the top of his skull across his ear. Now what I'm gonna do is, once I'm in this stronger position, I take my arm and I go outside of his leg to make a wedge. You can go femur or tip of the knee. And we're gonna try to get a reaction. But the first thing we have to pay attention to is what I mentioned about my bridge. If I stay down here perpendicular and I start to bridge, at the peak of my bridge, he hasn't even moved an inch. So what I want to do is get in this habit of bringing my hips towards my opponent, and now I'm going to start my bridge. And if I start my bridge here, right, see how my knee is always checking behind his calf here? I'm not letting him mount me, I'm always checking. And as I start to bridge, okay, we're gonna get one of a couple reactions on this side of the body. Number one, I start to bridge and he's gonna post with his left arm. Boom. If he posts with his left arm, that gives me inside position and that gives me a frame under the neck. If I block and he's so focused on what his arms are doing, and I start to bridge, he's gonna base with that left knee. And when I feel that left knee really strong, I shrimp, I bring my knee in at a downward angle, and I start to climb myself into